I'm Renee Richel, the founder and president of One True Match. I'm here to help you find and cultivate the love of your life. For over a decade, I've dedicated my life to the importance, purpose, and dynamic of human relationships. My team and I are disciplined by faith, love, and integrity to help our clients find the quality relationship they've always dreamt of. Each week, I will be sharing the tools and tips I've learned that have rooted my success as a matchmaker with other leaders around the world.
Hello, loves. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be sitting here with you one-on-one, back in our form of communication and sharing all things love and relationships and questions. So it's been a minute, and we are so grateful for our guests that we have had on. And this summer, we have been talking about just even giving more and more relationship advice that we've heard from each and every one of you. So thank you for writing in. Thank you for listening to stories. We always love sharing people's testimonies and stories and have so much more coming. So I hope your summer is starting off great. I'm going to give some advice today that I hope you carry this out not only just through the summer today, but also forever, because this is just great advice when people say, what do I do? Or how do I, get to the next place in a relationship? Or how do I just even think about, love and having healthy relationships with people around us, not even if it's in a romantic relationship. So what we're going to talk about today is 3 phases that are going to help you go that extra mile when it comes to all areas of your life, when it comes to living a enriched and fulfilling relationship, happy, loving life. So here we go. We're going to get started. So number 1, when it comes to a phrase that I want you to remember when it comes to love, relationship, and life is to always start off with, I love you, which seems really simple and almost thoughtless, but it has to have heart behind it. And I think so many times people just throw around the I love you, or when they just want to ignore something. But people know when it comes from the heart, and people know when it's genuine. And so I'm going to dive into each one of these on a little bit of a deeper level because it's really important. So write these down, these 3 phrases. First of all, I always start off with, I love you. And even in our office, because of course, most settings professionally, you're not going to say that to your colleague, right? But however, in our, business, we are constantly saying that in ways that we want somebody to know that we truly care about them. And I think so many times when we are dealing with all scenarios in life, we kind of forget about that detail. And maybe it's an I love you in a different way, especially if it's a colleague, but even with our own family. In the past, a lot of us that have grown up with not hearing those words, then we lack even saying them today. And just like everybody knows, the more I love yous you hear that are genuine and true, they just fill up your cup with joy. So always remember to first of all tell somebody that you love them. And that's how you start off every conversation when you go into, just talking about just in general topics or just fun ways of having conversations, right? Another phrase that I think is so important to remember on a daily basis when communicating with people, or even when it's, something hard or something big has happened in your life, is the words, I forgive you. And forgive is something that I feel is a loose word that people don't really take to the depth of what that word means. So when you have a disagreement, or you feel like somebody has hurt you, or, you've gone through something that in your opinion is maybe unforgivable, part of forgiving is not only saying that, but also meaning it. So many times people will say, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry is also a word that has been lost on a lot of people's ears and mind, I guess I would say, because it doesn't have the meaning behind it that the word I forgive you should. So sometimes when we're just upset, we're like, okay, I'm sorry, because we don't just get out of that conversation or whatever it is. But to truly forgive is to also heal and forget and move forward. So, when we talk to people on a regular basis and couples, and they'll say, well, I've forgiven, but I haven't forgotten. That is not truly forgiving. So meaning what you say, like the I love you, like I forgive you, means you have prayerfully spent time processing what it takes to actually forgive, to heal, to move forward, and forget. The past is in the past. The present and the future is what you have. And so I know in past relationships that have really burnt or really stung or hurt, the amount of effort it took to pray for somebody that has hurt you or somebody that has left you in a scenario that is just, in your opinion, unforgivable. But when you have the power of Jesus inside of you and you have the power of prayer to truly pray for that person on a daily basis, that takes time. It does. It takes so much effort and time, just like all relationships do. If you want to have a healthy relationship, you have to work at it, and it takes work, or you just stay alone, right? So it's really an art that you have to work at to be able to prayerfully pray for somebody. And it's incredible when you do that on a daily basis and you put in the time to forgive. When the day comes where you have truly forgiven and you have healed from it, you're free. And that is the power in the word, I forgive you, in all meaning of what forgiveness is. So if that's something that you're struggling with, I encourage you to every day pray for either your enemy or somebody that has wrongfully hurt you or attacked you or whatever it is, to be able to move forward in a free life of happiness and love and care, to be able to release those chains that tear you down so you can't live your best life that God has designed you to feel. And then another word or phrase I like to also say, once you've completed the I love you, I forgive you, the next big piece of it is that I believe in you. And again, these all sound like very simple words, but when you actually process, reflect, and think through these phrases and words that make massive differences when it comes to communication, is so many times when we go through the forgiveness, we forget to also believe in somebody. And when we have truly forgiven and we believe not only in ourselves, but that other person, it is night and day where a relationship can transform and lead its self direction into. I think the one thing in today's society and just in the world in general that everybody is constantly doing that leads to the lack of good communication skills and an enriching environment that you're in with a mate. Because remember, every day a relationship is a choice, and you choose to either make it thrive because you both want to, or it will eventually fall by the wayside. And so it does take work. And I think some of the most successful relationships that not only are we around on a regular basis, that we've worked with, that we see, it's because they have mastered the art of I love you, I forgive you, because none of us are perfect. We all do things that we are not proud of sometimes, right? That I believe in you, and to never be judgmental. Never be judgmental on something that you do not know. Never assume something that you do not know. Also, that leads with don't have an opinion on something that you do not know. And never compare your relationship to somebody else's or your timeline. And I know we've done other podcasts on this. And so if you have not listened to some of our other podcasts, I strongly encourage you to go into some of our other topics of subjects we've discussed, because it's so, so important to be able to master all these little fine-tuned details when it comes to having a healthy relationship, not only with yourself, but also in a relationship. And if you've not mastered your relationship first, I always say with the Lord, to love him more than anything else first, to then love yourself, to be able to know your areas of weakness and your areas of strength and the areas that you want to forever learn to be better at, I mean, my biggest thing is I know that I always write down when I'm having a thought or an emotion or a feeling or something around something. Of course, I always talk about process, reflect, and, then share after 72 hours is also writing it down. And so when you're asked these questions or you're diving deeper into whatever it is you're feeling, and you go through these steps to I love you, I forgive you, I believe in you, I believe in us, it is so, so, so important to also think through how you get there. And writing that down really helps you to be able to communicate it in a way that's not emotional, that's thought through on the differences of personalities, because you know your personality, you know your love languages, you know your partners, and sometimes it changes. So every couple of years, it is so beneficial to take those test results, to take those quizzes again, to always be curious about yourself and your mate, to have a healthy, happy relationship, and to not just assume things that have happened in your past that will happen again, and you bring that into your present and future relationship. So I know this seems pretty basic and it seems pretty easy, but write these things down, practice them. Think about the next time you're in a conversation with somebody and about other relationships when these words, I love you, I forgive you, and I believe in you, were not genuine, and how the results had turned into maybe a toxic relationship ended, but also your partner didn't know the same phrases. So I encourage you, if you are single, to write these down, to think about it, reflect on it, and use these tools as, the ingredients to moving forward and how you communicate and have relationships with people. If you are dating, engaged, or married, share these things that you're doing on your next couch talk conversation or walk talk or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. I always say, as long as the word walk is in it. It could be your travel talk. It could be whatever it is. Like, that's just a buzzword that creatively people come up with. It's just, you need to remember these key words, phrases when it comes to communication so that you can go that extra mile in your relationship that you've never done before. And again, I cannot express this enough. Don't compare your love to anybody else's love, because God has designed each one of us uniquely different for his design, which is what the beauty is of why I love what I do every single day, is getting to know people for who they are and genuinely who God's designed them to be, and putting them together obviously as a matchmaker and watching them flourish because they're genuinely being who they are, teaching them the principles and the skills that they need to be successful together, and being their biggest cheerleader, because all of us mess up at times. All of us get in our own way. All of us have our own thoughts. All of us don't know how to handle sometimes our emotions. So it's paramount to a successful relationship that you put in the effort and the time of understanding these very simple tools to be able to apply on a regular basis in all areas of what you do. Because when you live a healthier, happier, loving life, you also put that out there to the world that spreads to have more healthy relationships. So I hope you have found this helpful and beneficial. And I love it when everybody writes in and suggests things that would be little tips that we can remember simply in our relationship going forward, so that we can have the best relationships we thrive for. So continue to plug in on Thursdays when we are sharing more tips and tools to be able to use in your love life and personal life, because all things revolve around love and everything that we do. And I cannot wait for our next chat soon. Have a blessed day.
It's been another great talk on this episode of One True Talks by Renee Richel. I look forward to our next chat. Please write in your questions and comments so I can be sure to talk about whatever it is you want to discuss in our next upcoming episode. Lots of love. God bless. XOXO.